What's up, everyone? You have tuned into Pop Smoke, where real veterans speak on real issues. From combat zones to the home front, we break down current events, military culture, and life after service. This is a veteran-made, unfiltered, and unapologetically bold podcast. Lock it in, we're just getting started. Hold the pen and pop smoke. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the second official episode of Pop Smoke. I am here with Jacob tonight, and we are
Just hanging out, man. Rocking
we're
out
just
with our cocks out, jamming with our clams out.
Yeah, man, it is full on officially summer. I'll tell you one thing. I got out over the weekend. I went to a Braves game and it was a brutally hot. And I know you're up in Wisconsin, but dude, it's got to be hot up there too.
I mean, it ranges. We still drop down at night. We're fine. We're probably in the 70s this weekend.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we get hot. Once it hits the 80s, we're hot. And it doesn't hit the 80s long. It'll be like a couple days, then it'll dip back down. And you're still in the 50s at night.
I had in-laws in town this weekend, and some of my in-laws are Yankees fans. So the Yankees were in town, so we went to Braves Yankees. It was a great game on Saturday night. Went kind of back and forth. Yankees fans are so obnoxious. Like, I hate it, but at the same time, like, it's fun. But Yankees fans almost take it to like a level where it's like, I want to fight you now.
Right.
But yeah, so we were at the game, and it was 9 o'clock at night. And I looked like at my weather app and it was still 89, 90 degrees at like 9 o'clock at night. So yeah, it was hot for sure. Yeah. Let's talk about, you had a kind of a big weekend.
Yeah.
You got to get out and do a little bit of charter fishing. When I generally think of charter fishing, I think like deep sea fishing, but I have also been charter fishing on Lake Michigan before as well. So you got to go out on Lake Michigan, do some charter fishing. What were y'all fishing for?
Mostly salmon, but whatever is out there. And it was a beautiful day. Had a little rain, but not bad. And I guess the water was too warm for a lot of the fish, so they weren't biting too much.
It looks like y'all caught a bunch. That was a big old trout that you caught. I fly fish for trout, and there's a small population of native trout, but a lot of them are stocked. So what happens is a lot of those fish, they dump them into the rivers and they get caught up within the first, couple weeks. Some of them survive, but trout is actually not native to Georgia. But anyway, when I catch trout, the ones that I'm catching are about like that big,
A little rainbow trout. I had fun, and I'm a big fan of anything free. So it was paid for
You got
by
to
one
do
of
it
my
for free?
Yeah, it was paid for by one of our distributors. I talked them into it.
Heck yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it made it even better. And then dude brought beers too. So I got free beer and fucking got free fishing. Like, you can't beat that life.
Did you go out with anybody else, or was it just you? Or
No, it was coworker. We had 7 of us total. So we had 2 boats. Me, one other guy, 2 other guys on the little boat, and then the big boat had the other 4.
do you ever freak your coworkers out?
No, I don't show them the true side of me. I keep a lot of that to myself. Yeah, they don't need to know all that shit.
You do like what a lot of us do, and you just bury that shit deep down inside and never let it come up.
Like, I barely cuss at work. Like, occasionally I'm very professional. Yeah. Like, I bury the F-bombs deep down. Occasionally they'll slip out. Sometimes I'll look at someone and be like, did you bump your fucking head? And they'll look at me all crazy. I like, did you just say that? Like, sometimes it slips out. But yeah, no, I try not to cuss. I try to be a very office personnel fucking professional.
I think a lot of veterans, especially OIF, OEF, like GWAT Air veterans, struggle with that, especially right now. For the most part, in the middle of our careers, I had to build relationships with people. So obviously I couldn't do some of the things that just come naturally, that they're just built into us now at this point. A big part of my job was building relationships with vendors, clients, referral partners, whatever. And I would seek out any other veterans that were within like the mortgage industry or real estate, because obviously generally they know how we operate. But yeah, it is always weird kind of working within an office setting and you being like the only veteran in the office.
Wisconsin's a lot different than any other part of the country too. I feel like they're still like operating in the 90s sometimes. They're not used to a dude talking about skull somebody and shit, you know?
Yeah, I hear that.
They're not, they're not used to the far out shit. They still frown upon weed, and but it's just a little different. At least this part of Wisconsin I'm in. It's a lot of Amish, you know. They still
Hmm.
they still play polka music on the radio.
Do they? That's awesome.
Yeah, like the local bars still do polka dancing on Sundays during the summertime.
The Polka King of Sheboygan.
Exactly where we're at. But it's just, you know, compared to who I can be sometimes, is I gotta bury
Yeah.
that deep down.
Wisconsin's interesting because it's in between Illinois and Montana, right?
Very country.
Dude, I love getting out and fishing. It's one of my favorite things to do is get out and fish. And I'm fortunate my kids love it. I grew up freshwater fishing. My grandfather, who's still around today, 98-year-old World War II Navy veteran, he and I would go up to the lake. We'd catch like big old carp just to catch them, carp, catfish. It was funny when we were at the lake for the 4th of July. We were out on the boat and we saw some jugs floating around. One of my kids was like, "What are those jugs doing?" I was like, "That's jug fishing right there." That is some good old boy stuff. You literally just take like a empty quart of oil
Huh?
and you tie some fishing line on it and you drop like a piece of chicken liver or something on it and you just let it float there and then you come back and check it like 2 3 hours later. But yeah, so
Okay.
I grew up kind of doing that, and then I've done some saltwater fishing, been out on a couple charters, done a decent amount of surf fishing. And then my new thing that I enjoy doing, I've actually done it with a pretty cool organization, a veterans organization that it's going to drive me crazy, but I forgot the name of it, where they'll take veterans and just teach them how to fly fish. It's legit, it's fun. Fishing, especially fly fishing, there's nothing more peaceful than like being out in the mountains and just fly fishing. So I highly
100%.
encourage anybody to do it. If they haven't, you have any interest, just, and again, it's going to kill me that I can't think of the name, but there's tons of veterans organizations that they operate to do that kind of stuff. So, yeah, man. So it is like, again, full on summertime. It is hot. We haven't really been able to go anywhere or do anything because softball for my oldest daughter just got over like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so we haven't had a chance to do much. You got anything? Y'all go anywhere doing anything for the rest of the summer?
I think we're gonna go up to somebody's cabin. Not next week. I think next weekend. And then I just gotta start planning my family cabin trip. That probably
Oh,
won't be
yeah.
until September because the black flies get bad up there around this time of year.
Dude, don't be racist.
Well, I mean, yeah, you ever fuck yeah.
Oh, I thought you said the black guys.
No, I said there ain't no black guys in the UP. Come on, there might be like two. We're leading up to football, man. That's all I'm waiting for. Like, oh, we're starting to get close.
This when football starts to like ramp up. You and I follow college football pretty extensively and then leading up to the NFL as well. But yeah, football season should be fun. A lot of unanswered questions for me. Georgia, I think, just because of who
Quarterback
they are, is probably going to start off in the top five, being Georgia. Ohio State, going to jump off at number one, number two, number three.
might be number 2 or 3 because they don't have a quarterback either.
I did see, and you had said that you don't remember playing football as PT. From time to time, we would play football on Fridays for PT. Like you looked forward to it. One, because you weren't just running, but an army unit. And I guess it's kind of a trend in some of the military branches that they're doing away with sports for PT.
I
And
kind of get it.
I do too, to a certain
You know,
extent. But I think it
prevent
goes both
injuries.
ways. Yeah, I mean, you wanna maintain military readiness.
But playing football is fun as fuck. Let's be honest, especially when you're in your early piece, you're in shape and shit. Like,
It is. It was a lot of
it's a good
fun.
time.
That's why, dude,
I'd still probably play football now.
that I saw some of the nastiest hits I've ever seen on a football field with 23-year-old Marines
Yeah.
just blindside blocking somebody.
All those hits across the middle and shit. Like Like I said, when we were in together in second tracks, our section did not play a lot of football. We played once in a while, but most of the time we did not because Hal hated us, so he just made us fucking run every day.
Yeah,
But like in other units, I did play football.
Now that I'm thinking about it, so after we got back from Afghanistan in 2010, I was doing a workup to go on another deployment. You were gone at that point, but we played a lot of football. It was just fun because
That's a great
you would
fucking
get
time.
pissed off at people and you could just lay out some nasty blocks on them. I wasn't a big dude. I was 5'9", 180. So it's not like I was really like just destroying people, but it was fun. But I do get why they're doing away with it.
Oh yeah, he definitely he can get hurt. Pull the fucking a lot of shit in your knees, doing those cut moves you don't do normally.
Yeah, but again, you're 23. Your knees aren't going to just blow out on you.
No.
Let me ask you
Nowadays,
this though.
yes.
Oh, you do away with it. I think one of the reasons that they did it was one to just kind of give us a break from PT. I think it kind of boosts morale a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of a trade-off if you go from maintaining, mission readiness and,
Dude,
you know, your military readiness, but you're kind of there's a morale booster there too.
who wants fucking morale? You want everybody pissed off and hating everything in life to go to combat. You want so fucking mad it doesn't matter about anything. They're just ready.
But they're not going to combat right now.
I know, but they're gonna be fucking so pissed at the world when they're ready for combat. They're gonna be so ready to go. You hate life so much, you're like, please let me go. It's like being a fucking hornet or a wasp.
They wanted us pissed off, but it made me start thinking, like, and I've never really liked to be that guy, but us now being out for like what 15 years, has the military just gotten soft, or like we the old timers now that it's like back in my day?
Probably. Probably the old timers, really. Because, you always heard about the old core, how the old core was. And it was so much harder being in the old core than the new core now. So
Dude, you know
I'm
what's
sure it's the same thing that we're thinking about now.
Yeah, I think the battlefield has changed to a certain extent. It doesn't have to be the same thing, but I don't in the interview that I did with uh Brian Ricketts, we talked about it a little bit, and I don't think that anything will ever replace boots on the ground.
Maybe, maybe not. That's probably what fucking, the French thought in World War I when they lined up in fucking formation to square off and they got mowed down by machine guns.
Yeah.
I think eventually there will be no more boots on the ground.
I mean, has it gotten soft? I know that I don't
Probably.
when we've had gotten out, people started talking about, oh man, boot camp or basic is soft, like it's weak now. They let them have their cell phones and stuff. I don't know if the Marine Corps lets people have cell phones in boot camp. I would hope not.
I'm sure it's probably trending that way. I would assume. I have no fucking idea, but I'm just making assumptions. I would assume they let them make calls. I don't know
Like on a
though.
Sunday or something.
Yeah, I'm sure they give them their cell phones on Sundays, but I could be way off, and I have no fucking clue. Let's fucking
I don't
find
know.
out.
If anybody listening has been to boot camp basic or whatever branch you were in, if you've been in the past 3 or 4 years, let us know. Do you get cell phones and is it soft? I hear you. But yeah, I do think that the military is changing, and I don't know if that's good or bad. But talking about the old core, back when we were in the old
I
core.
don't think we're in the old core, but yeah, go for it.
But you know what's crazy to me is I went somewhere the other day. I have on the back of my truck the tags, like the Marine Corps Georgia tags, and it's got like an EGA on there and the OEF ribbon, and it says War in Afghanistan.
That's kind of gay, but
You're pretty gay, but dude, you're wearing a
maybe
fucking hat that just says veteran.
my kid bought it for me, and I kind of like the color. Yeah, I like the color, and I like the American flag, so you can suck it.
So anyway, I was pulling through a car wash, and there's like a car wash attendant there, and their system was down or something. So he had to go back and like read my license plate. He was like, Afghanistan, huh?" And I was like, "Yep." He was like, "Man, I heard about that in school." And I was like, "What? You heard
Like,
about
shut
it in
the fuck
school?
up. Get the fuck out of my face.
You should have heard about it in real life, dude."
Or just ended like 3 years ago. Shut up. Leave
Yeah,
me
but
alone.
when I was in high school, it was late 90s, right? So let's just say 98, 99. And then
Okay.
Vietnam was like back in like late 60s, early 70s. So the time frame wasn't exactly the same, right? Like it was longer from Vietnam. It's probably what 25 years from when I was in high school, from 99, yeah, 25 to 30. Dude, that's the way that we're headed. We think back to like, man, that's an old Vietnam vet, right? But we're headed in that direction. Where a kid legitimately was like, I heard about that in history class.
I've been pissed. Like, shut up. Get the fuck out of my face. I mean, like, it reminds me of the last time I went roller skating. I went roller skating, dude, and I fucking lost my balance and flung up in the air and landed on my back. And I was sitting there just laying, like, winded, like, oh, fuck, that hurt so bad. I hope not. Like, all embarrassed, too. And the attendant skated over to me and he looked at me. He's like, "You okay, sir?" And I was like, "You better get the fuck away from me now." Just because I was pissed off.
Why were you roller skating?
For one of the kids' birthday parties or something.
Like you had a roller skating rink?
Yeah, yeah, I was at a roller skating ring. Yeah, like, yeah, I was jamming the music,
Were
grooving.
you? I can see you getting down. Were you
Wow.
roller
And then
skating or roller blading?
no, roller skating, dude. You know, I got the four wheels going on, looking good, dude, grooving. I just lost the balance because I don't roller skate a lot anymore.
Yeah.
And then you do the running as soon as you fucking hit the roller skating, and they lose it. You're like, oh, you try to catch
Yeah.
it, and it's a whoop, boom.
I'd
Just
like to
lay
try
there
and
too.
yeah, I'd like to try and roller skate again.
Like my uncle, they always told me I fought in a real war. You didn't, Jacob.
Oh, yeah? Did they fight in Vietnam?
He fought in Vietnam. But he used to
What?
always sit at the bar and be like, "You're my fourth favorite. Meet my fourth favorite nephew, everybody." And I'd be like, "Dude, you only got three nephews. How do you got it? Like, how am I your fourth favorite? Get the fuck out of here, dude."
I guess we talk about we were just in Afghanistan and then Vietnam before that. There was obviously the Gulf War, but it seems like the next biggest threat on the horizon, something going to happen with China, and to that effect, they've got the war games going on in Australia, which when you first hear about it, like somebody says war games, it's like, dude, that sounds cool as fuck. But then you start to really think about it and you're like, that would kind of suck actually. You're going to Australia and you're just going to be out in the field the whole time, but there's 19 countries participating, 35,000 personnel, troops. Like we went to CAX
Yeah.
in 29 Palms and it was just the Marine Corps' version of war games, which in all honesty, it sucked, but at times it could kind of be cool doing CAX.
Well, I bet that war games would actually be pretty fucking cool. And I bet you get some type of liberty in Australia.
See,
And what
if you,
every Marine I ever met told me about Australian women is they love Americans because Australian men are giant dicks to them. I'm just going off of everything everybody's always told me.
yeah, it'd be cool to if you did get Libo in Australia.
I'm sure they did, unless they're like us in second tracks, and they're like, "Fuck you guys, you don't get Libo. Everybody else had Libo, and you don't."
Yeah,
So
I
I could see that
remember
happening.
going out there like to CAX to Camp Wilson, and it was like everybody stay away from the whiskey chuck, right?
Why everybody goes to the whiskey chuck? Everybody gets to go drink and except us. Like why?
Because you got some people from our platoon that you know who I'm talking about that lose their
Oh yeah,
rifles at the whiskey chuck.
every time. Didn't matter what fucking year it was or what. Who went there? Somebody did. Somebody got too hammered, but
There's always one.
it was. There's always somebody different too, though. So it made up for it.
But yeah, so the Australian War Games, it sounds like it would be cool, but I bet it sucks. But they all that obviously is just posturing against China. I read that they're doing like amphibious landings, but obviously tr- tracks are now gone. So I guess they're using the new expeditionary fighting vehicle (EFV).
It's not the UFV. It's a amphibious combat vehicle.
ACV.
Release. Yeah, it's ACV. EFE got kinked, dude. Probably after you got out. They could never get the tracks how they flip up under. They could never get the hydraulics to work right.
So I guess that's how they do amphibious stuff in the Marine Corps. The Navy has different kind of boats and stuff that can go ship to shore somewhat,
Well,
right?
yeah, they got the hover chips or the personal. Those are badass, and then
But
you also
those are more like vehicle carriers, I feel like, not troop
yeah.
carriers.
It depends on what you're bringing back, and I'm trying to think. And then a lot of the countries that we fuck with still use a.
But I can imagine assaulting the beaches of China would be pretty crazy.
That would be pretty badass, but it'd be pretty badass. Like if I was 21 years old again, and you're like, "Hey, or 19 years old again, like we're going to do amphibious landing," I'd be about it. I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Let's do it."
That's just posturing. That's kind of the next thing on the horizon. We've talked a little bit in the past about how the battlefield is obviously going to change, especially if we go to war with China. Coming up now, we're going to fellow Marine that we deployed with, but we went to boot camp together and then we deployed, and me and Mitch stayed in the same, I think we were in the same platoon the entire time that we were in the fleet. So, like, legitimately in the same platoon. We lived on a couple trucks together for a while when we pushed into Marja.
No,
Stay tuned as we roll into the interview. What's up, guys? Tonight we have myself, Jacob, Ricky, and joining us, Mitch. Mitch deployed with us. You went to boot camp with us. You went to MCT with us, into the fleet, at least with me and Jacob, for like the entire time we were in the fleet. So I'm glad that we got you on here as our first.
you might be too pretty.
Happy to be here.
It's kind of interesting because I think if you look at how we're all in Quebec Company, right? Like we all went to Paris Island in April of 2008, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Were you and Hoffer in a platoon together in boot camp?
No.
Was anybody here in the same platoon in boot camp?
No.
Yeah. So different, all the same company, different platoons. That's
Right,
kind of cool.
which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and Hoffer and Han, we got teamed up in MCT, and that's how
Didn't
me and
that suck?
Hoffer were boys. Dude, we've talked about that before. MCT did fucking suck.
Fourth phase.
It didn't bother me.
Yeah.
I think I was the only one.
I hated it.
Honestly, I kind of like we got to do kind of cool stuff in MCT.
I wouldn't have cared if they let us like smoke and dip and stuff.
Yeah.
But it still
Yeah, it
felt
was
like
just
it
like
was
being
like,
in boot camp, but without the 8 hours of sleep.
and plus
It was
like July.
And it was like it was a field atmosphere too. So like none of the normal, like it was almost worse because they didn't have so much supervision and structure. We were just
Right.
like in the field. So like it was just like
I don't know. I like
constant barrage of bullshit and staying on top of you, no dip and all this crap, you know.
It's fun, dude.
I think I had a whole different boot camp experience than all of you. I think
I
my
didn't
boot
mind
camp
it.
experience was way different than all three of yours because like MCT was nice compared to boot camp for me. Choked me every
he
he choked me every day, and like when everybody be marching, like doing drill, he just had me carrying the 5-gallon jugs of water over my head, just running around the fucking platoon.
Well, I mean, there had to have been a reason why.
Were you lead or follow series?
Yeah, fuck, I don't know.
It was follow.
I don't
I was
remember
follow
what
then.
series stuff.
I was whatever Peasley. I think whatever Peasley was.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I really remember that is I feel like the barracks, like the squad bays beside us, the lights would come on, and I remember being on Firewatch, and when you see their lights come on, then you would lights in my squad base. So I feel like that was lead series, and we were follow series.
I found this the other day.
Sick.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What is that?
It's just a flag from fucking boot camp.
That's pretty cool.
That's in pretty good shape considering you sleep with it every night.
I keep it super close to me for sure.
Hard.
Yeah. So one of the things that is interesting is like Ricky and I, we joined the Marine Corps under almost the exact same pretense. Now Ricky is older than me. I'll throw that out there. But we partied for a little while. We went in, like I was 23, Ricky was 30, and Han was kind of on the other end. But you weren't super young. You weren't fresh out of high school, Han. Like you were like 19.
Yeah, I was 19 when I went to boot camp.
But PZ, I feel like you were kind of in between that, right? Like in between being right out of high school.
I turned 20 in boot camp first couple of weeks. So yeah, I mean, I had bought a car. I had an apartment, so when we end up hitting the fleet, and that's the first thing you tell us, check in with your NCOs about, big purchases. I'm like, y'all, like, I've already done that. These guys are younger than me,
Right.
kind of weird, which I'm sure you guys
you probably still took like 26% APR on that car that you bought, but
a Mustang.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I did well on the laptop. That was only 20%.
The laptop?
Yeah, in Oceanside, they were selling laptops to everybody for like 20-30% interest.
Did they really finance laptops to people out there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I got a star card. You remember the star card for the PX? That was a mistake. I maxed that motherfucker out, bro. I had like all sorts of outfits and a fucking laptop.
Talk about predatory lending.
I had that.
I mean, it's not dumb though. It might be predatory lending, but like if you want to make money, go get some dumbass 20-year-old boots and be like, I'll give you $1,000 on a credit card right now.
I think it was interest free though, so
A Star Card was, but did anybody get the T-Mobile phone out in Oceanside? Oh, dude, they had hot ass fucking chicks working at that mall selling T-Mobile phones. They got my dumb ass. I had the sidekick and all.
Dude, I was with you, no lie, at the mall in Oceanside when you were signing up for cell phone plans, and I was just like, come on, dude.
Yeah, the chicks are hot. They knew what they were doing.
But yeah, Peasley, so you're from Maine originally, right?
Yep, from Maine.
What part of Maine?
Kind of like central coastal, like Bar Harbor. I'm not far from there where I grew up. People usually can recognize Acadia National Park or something like that.
Have you done Katahdin?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, I spend more time in Mount Katahdin, but not a lot of people pick up on that. That's not, but absolutely. Baxter State Park, that whole area.
Yeah. It's beautiful out there.
Do a lot of whitewater rafting right next to Katahdin.
Yeah,
do you?
Beautiful.
Yeah, there's really good whitewater here.
I love to whitewater raft. I mean, I've never done it like seriously. I've just been with like guides a couple times. It's fun, but I feel like the water up there has got to be super cold no matter what time of year it is.
It's not terrible towards the end. Like actually the first week of September, it's probably the warmest water, and it's probably like 76.
That's not bad.
Yeah, in the spring for the first couple months, like right now, mid-June, end of June, it's cold because it's a lot of the stuff on the mountain is just melting, the ice and snow, so it's still running off and it's pretty frigid.
Okay. I'd love to go to Maine. I've never been. I always say like that's the next place outside of Alaska. It's the other part of the country that I haven't been to is just like the far northeast. But I'd love to go up there at some point. But when you say coastal, so coastal to me, I think of like Carolina beaches, stuff like that. What does coastal Maine look like?
Rocky.
Like Kitty Bunk. What is the Bushes compound?
That's the Bushes place, yeah.
Yeah, Kennebunkport area. That's like southern
Wells
Maine.
Beach and shit.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of like southern. The southern half of the state is definitely more populated, the most populated.
Yeah, because once you get far north, it's wilderness up there, dude.
So like past me, it gets pretty sparse. I'm about 2 hours and 45 minutes from the New Hampshire border, straight north. And if you drew a line across where I'm at, it's pretty sparse. And then most of the northern half of the state's uninhabited.
Yeah.
Small.
Maine's pretty big too. Like it's
geographically it's bigger than the rest of the states in New England combined.
But so you from Maine originally, you went in when you said you're like 19, 20. So, I mean, how did you end up in the Marine Corps as an 1833? Did they promise you something or did they just say sign here?
Absolutely promised me stuff. I remember my recruiter, of course, I had a handful of friends that were dear to me that had gone to boot camp and signed up and joined prior to me. But I had long hair, a Rasta bracelet. Like I was getting stoned and fucked up. I wanted my freedom. I couldn't, go do that bullshit. And then they all left and I had gone through a couple jobs, knew I wasn't ready for school. So I was like, fuck it. Might as well, like-minded people, athletes, like whatever. I had the vision of like being a badass with some other badasses. Right. And so, yeah, I walked in there and I was like, I got to, they had already known me. I'd already gone in there with all my friends before, and like they'd always try to talk me into it. And so I went in there and I was just like, Ian was the guy's name. And I was like, you got to get me out of here in 2 weeks or I'm going to change my mind. And he was like, all right. And he held up a picture of an M1A1 Abrams. And then he held up a picture of the EFV that was skipping across the ocean at 40 miles per hour. And he was like, you're going to do one of these. And I was like, that's sick. Cool. And then I got to Del Mar, and I was just like, what the fuck is that? I'm in the wrong place.
Right?
That's what they did to me.
You had kind of the same experience, right, hon?
Yeah. They did the exact same. They're like, I was like, I want to be a tanker. And they're like, okay, yeah, we got you. Sign this contract. Here's all these options. They never talked about fucking Amtrak's. And then when we got to Del Mar, I was like, what the fuck's an Amtrak? And they're like, oh, it floats in water. And I was like, why the fuck am I here? I was like, either I'm going to be an RV
I didn't
or
know
a
my
fucking
MOS.
tanker.
Yeah, I got a bonus also. I got $5,000.
What?
They showed me the EFV and then they gave me $5,000 and I was like, sign me up. Let's go.
They didn't tell me my MOS until the last week at MCT. In boot camp, they're like, we don't know where you're going. I got the MCT and I was like, where am I going? They're like, we don't fucking know. They didn't tell me until I got the plane tickets, like when we were like hanging out in MCT and everybody was getting their orders and plane tickets and shit. That's when they gave it to me. And they're like, oh, you're going to
you guys. Like, there was a shit ton of trackers in our class, right?
I don't know how many people have the same kind of experience. Don't know. Like, you go to boot camp, you go to MCT, and then we boot dropped like 16 or 17 people from our MCT, I think, right?
Yeah, we were a huge boot drop. We never got a boot drop like we were.
No, I don't. But I don't think you get a lot of boot drops like that. They just shoved all of us, like 16 of us, into Second Tracks Bravo Company. EAS from Second Tracks Bravo Company. Like, I never changed, and I think there was probably like 7 or 8 of us that did the same thing. Peasley, did you ever go anywhere outside of that?
Han did. I was the police sergeant, and I had probably like, I don't know, a world record stack of domino boxes in my barracks room, but I would like fail some of the boots for like throwing a gum wrapper in their empty trash can on the way out of the room. I was that guy. I was a police sergeant. Fucking people.
I don't remember that. But you got out in like
my barracks room.
How long did you stay in, Peasley?
4 years. I got out. I did the 3-month early out too. So I was like,
so you and Brad did the same thing?
Yeah,
I was out in January of 2012.
Same year.
You told me I had to get out of my barracks room.
I don't know. Me and Hin did like the same tour. I mean, because we were in Afghanistan in the same fucking truck together too.
For a while. Yeah. Then we were supposed to go on that second deployment. I was kind of excited for that deployment. I was going to have the LASIK done. Like, a couple other people had it done, whatever corrective surgery, they were going to do it. But they told me I had to have a year and a half. And ultimately, it came down to, do I take this deployment or do I get the LASIK play? And then right after that, they're like, oh, we're actually not going anymore.
Was that for the Mew? I kind of remember a Mew kicking off. Like,
no, that wasn't for a Mew.
Because we didn't really do any Mew stuff.
As a tracker?
But the one thing that we were fighting for is combat deployments. Before us, it was Delta that had deployed, and we were replacing Delta. So it was kind of like you're trying to get on that combat deployment rather than go on a Mew. I never wanted to get on a Mew. It just
I heard the
wasn't
Mew
exciting
sucked at our time too, because there weren't really any booze cruises. It was, I mean, that's just what I heard, that it was just like they went to shitty places because it was the time of war and they were like, showing presence in like pockets that were as fun as other
views. Yeah. One thing that I'm glad we got to do after we deployed was Fleet Week. That shit was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. That was just enough time on a ship too.
Yeah, that's the most time I ever spent on a ship. Was the 7 or 10 days or whatever that we were doing Fleet Week. And the only thing that sucked about Fleet Week was coming back we had to be back at midnight, and then you're hammered trying to get into your little tiny ass bunk.
There was a few times I wasn't with my battle buddy either, and they were like, where the fuck is he? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's here already. I mean, there was a whole night that I was like I left the ship, and it was like, I don't know, earlier in the day, and took a couple fucking trains, the subway, and then a train, like all the way to Long Beach, Long Island, and had dinner with this girl that I met at the bar a couple
Oh, I
nights.
remember you telling me about
Her whole
this.
family. Brother's name was David.
Damn.
Holy shit.
You
What
committed.
happened? Like, why did that sounds like a rom-com for
I
sure.
got off that train in Long Beach, Long Island. She picked me up and we drove straight to like a Kohl's or an Old Navy, whatever it was, because I was in, what was I in? Charlie's.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, I can't just hang out at your house and go to the beach with your friends like this. So we went to a fucking Kohl's and I just bought a completely new outfit, shoes, sneakers, socks, everything, and just like folded up my stuff real neatly, and then went and had like a normal day with all these people that I didn't know.
I'm just curious. So, what made you like meet this girl that you were just like, tomorrow I want to go and change my entire outfit, get on a train for 45 minutes? Where is she just hot? Like,
Shit.
but you
Well,
met her family. Like, you were
I
hanging out
know,
with her
dude.
family.
I know. She was like, we talked for years after that too, and just never linked back up anywhere.
I mean,
You're
I'm
kind
just
of
saying,
a
like, you went
desperate
to a family.
romantic.
It's crazy to think because I kind of formed like I almost had like a Fleet Week girlfriend in this girl, but like I still am replaying some of the highlights of that trip, and there were numerous women, and I'm just kind of like, how long were we there at this point? Like I don't remember, like, you know, there's a lot to unpack from that Fleet Week, but
Yeah. No, I mean, I can
it
see
was
that for
great. I
sure.
mean, we bumped into each other at a bar, and
Did you?
yeah, she was pretty. She was pre-med.
Where'd you bump into her? Like in Long Island or whatever?
Yeah, her and her friends came to Fleet Week, came to the city for Fleet Week. Like that was
Oh,
They knew what they wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She found one, and then
yep.
that's what's
And
up.
they were, you know, she's like, we watched that episode of Sex in the City. But then it like turns out though that she wasn't even a slut. Like she took me to her parents and was like,
Well,
Right?
that's weird.
like this guy's cool.
Did she become a doctor?
She did, yeah.
What kind of doctor? I mean, either way, she's a lady doctor, so it's not that impressive. But
Yeah. I don't remember. I mean, I haven't checked into her in a dozen years, but I mean, you know, even after we stopped talking, I still had her like on social media for years, and
right.
I know that she ended up graduating,
Are you married now?
getting married next year.
Nice.
What's
Uh,
that?
Any kids?
Got a 2.5-year-old. It's our nephew that we foster. He came to us when he was 6 months old on 3 days' notice. We were just like hungover and like, yeah.
Damn.
And then
That's
we
pretty
didn't think it was
awesome,
going
though.
to be a big deal. And then it's been 2 years later. We're trying to adopt him right now.
That's pretty awesome. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a good egg. So it doesn't give us much grief. So
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, I've got a 2.5-year-old. They can be hell.
yeah, for sure. You got more than one or just one?
Yeah, I have a 12-year-old too. I think she's 20 though.
Yeah, she's about to give you hell.
You just got to punch them in the forehead every so often.
Why? Is that what kids do? Punch you in the forehead?
No, I punch the kids in the forehead every so often.
You punch the kids in the
Like
forehead.
you don't punch your kids in the chest just every like when they walk by. You just what? Just right in the chest as hard as you can, just so they know. Like, hey, what can happen? Joking, I don't do that. Except the 17-year-old, like he catches these hands every so often, just so he knows, like he's not there yet.
But yeah, so we were 33s, right? So we went from boot camp to MCT, deployed, and then me and Peasley got out, and then Han, you stayed in for a little while. So Tracks just had their sunsetting ceremony or whatever. I guess
done.
they're not doing tracks anymore at Courthouse Bay, right? But ultimately, I like tracks. Like I like the history of tracks. Like I like the track community as well. So I mean, I was at least happy that I ended up there.
Yeah, I mean, being in Courthouse Bay as well. I mean, that was a blessing in disguise. Like I couldn't imagine being Mainside. I had a couple friends from high school. Like I said, a lot of my friends joined before me, you know, and across the years prior to me joining. So they were Mainside when I got there, and going to visit them was like, nah, we had it made out in Courthouse Bay as far as I'm concerned.
But why do you say that? I'm just curious.
Just the I mean, I'm from Maine, so you put more people in a small area, then I get uncomfortable. So just the fact that it was one of the biggest Marine Corps installations, if not the biggest, and 80% of them were right there in a few square miles.
And I think at that time, the Marine Corps had grown so fast that they really didn't have a place to put us all. You know what I mean? So like we were definitely pushing that fucking base to the limits.
I remember going out to, because Hoffer, you were in French Creek, right, for a while.
Yep. Yep.
I remember going out there and like we would hang out and like I went out there like 3 or 4 times and we'd hang out and we'd drink beers and I'm like, dude, this is a totally different experience
Yeah,
than
so my
Courthouse Bay.
experience and you guys' experience is not main side. You know, main side was like over by building 60 and all that bullshit. Like I was still kind of out there in the cut too, you know.
The one nice part I would say about our shit, like all of us being boot dropped together, is we all fucking formed a different bond than a lot of people have. Like even
cool, for sure.
With Marines, like going to different units, like we are a lot tighter than a lot of people fucking most first platoons ever were that I've ever talked to, you know?
Yeah, I gotta say, from my perspective, it's gotta be cool because I did a lot of shit by myself.
Yeah.
After MCT, I was by myself, dude. I didn't, and you know, I made friends with those guys, but it was different, you know. And like even going to our units, I never saw those guys again.
We were in Matt platoon for a little while too,
like 6 months or something, right? Or was it? I don't know if it was that long. It was a long time.
We were in Southern California for about 6 months.
Maybe longer.
Which Southern California was cool. It just sucked being there as a boot, and at the same time, I didn't really like it that much. I wanted to get back to the East Coast, but it was weird being just a boot out there. It's like there's so much stuff that you can do, but it's only a sea breeze away, you know? I felt like we couldn't do all the shit that we really wanted to do.
Did you guys get to go into Mexico and shit?
They didn't want us to. Knew some people that went.
Yeah, that was like a big thing when we got there. They were like, "Don't even fucking try." I
just wonder how much of that was propaganda to just get us to behave.
I remember there was some weird shit going on for a little while there, but I think a lot of it, like if
every year.
I know if you had let 19-year-old Jacob go to Tijuana, there would have been some fucking issues.
I probably wouldn't came back. Too, yeah. Like I still like let fucking 36-year-old Jacob go to Tijuana.
I went to LA a few times and it was a problem.
What's that?
You said it was a problem?
Yeah. Me and were just like blacked out on the trains, had to switch trains. We're sleeping where like people could have just come up, taken everything off us because we were just like, had no idea. We'd wake up and look at each other and like try to find a sign and then be like, somehow we make it back to base. Like, I don't even know how we did to this day.
Like I said, being out there, it was cool. It just sucked being a boot and like that's the stuff I wanted to do. But at the same time, I was like, I can't get too far away from base. I also just didn't have the balls to push it too much.
Plus, I was working with a fake ID and it was
working. Were you?
Oh yeah. I didn't turn 21 until, into the fleet, a little while into the fleet.
I know Han didn't either because Han got. I know Han didn't turn 21 until the fleet either. Han got my military ID taken away from him.
Yeah, I didn't turn 21 until Afghanistan.
Did you? Oh, you didn't?
Yeah, no, yeah, we were fucking after Marshall.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap up the first half of the interview that we were able to do with Mitch. Stay tuned. Next week, we're going to be dropping the second half. Find us on YouTube at Pop Smoke Pod and Spotify at Pop Smoke Pod. We appreciate all the support. Like and subscribe. Let us know what it is that we can cover that y'all want to hear about. In the meantime, pop smoke, then pop off.